Summer 1953, Houston, Texas. Multiple witnesses report a bat-winged humanoid in Houston Heights. The Houston Chronicle runs one article, then nothing. For 70 years, complete silence. Now, what if I told you that silence was exactly what the CIA ordered 6 months earlier? Grab your popcorn because you're gonna need that butter. I'm Uncle Perry. I don't just tell stories, I dig up the fucked up ones most folks are too chicken shit to talk about. And I do it in a cavalier kind of way. Today, a winged bastard in Houston that vanished the second Uncle Sam said shut it down. I'm exposing the shit they hoped you'd forget. Y'all ready to tear it up? Let's get it! Picture this. It's the dead of night on June 18, 1953 in the heart of Houston, Texas. We're talking 2:30 a.m. The kind of sticky summer darkness where the air hangs heavy and every shadow feels a little too alive. The spot? East 3rd Street, a quiet residential block that's since been swallowed up by Interstate 10. But back in the day, it was all front porches and pecan trees swaying in the breeze. Out on one of those porches, 3 neighbors are kicking back, unable to sleep due to the heat. There's Hilda Walker, a 23-year-old housewife. Next to her is 14-year-old Judy Myers, a wide-eyed teen soaking up the late-night vibes. And rounding off the trio is Howard Phillips, a 33-year-old tool plant inspector. The kind of dude who's seen some shit, but nothing at all like what's about to go down. They're chatting away when suddenly this massive-ass shadow falls across the lawn. At first, they brush it off. Maybe just a moth buzzing around the streetlight, casting an oversized reflection, right? But no. This thing bounces upward straight into a pecan tree about 25 feet from the porch. And there it is, perched on a branch, a fucking humanoid figure towering at around 6 to 7 feet tall. This ain't no bird. It's got leathery, bat-like wings sprouting from its back, attached to a body that's straight up human, but with these eerie bat features on its face. Pointed ears and a strange-looking smushed nose. Its skin? Grayish, or maybe it's wearing some tight-fitting gray or black outfit that clings like a second skin. And get this, the whole goddamn thing is wrapped in this weird yellowish glow or halo, lighting it up like some otherworldly lantern in the tree. The creature sways there on the branch for about 30 seconds, just rocking back and forth, while our witnesses are frozen solid, totally bricking it. Hilda later said she was stupefied and amazed, like her brain couldn't process it. Howard, he muttered something like, "I could hardly believe it, but I saw it." And young Judy, she lets out this blood-curdling scream that probably woke up half the fucking block. Then the glow starts to fade, and the figure just vanishes. But it's not over. Fuck no. Moments later, there's this high-pitched scream and loud swooshing sound ripping through the air overhead. They see a white flash, like a torpedo-shaped object blasting upward from another tree across the street, rocketing off at warp speed into the night. The whole encounter? Less than a minute, but it shook these folks to their core. They ran inside, hearts pounding, fumbling for the phone, and reported it straight to the police. By the next day, June 19th, it's front-page news in the Houston Chronicle, blasting this bizarre story to the entire city. No physical evidence like claw marks turned up in the reports, but shit, in a town buzzing with phantom attacker crimes that summer, assaults, and creepy exposures on women, this sighting added fuel to the paranoia shitstorm. Was it a hoax? A massive owl on steroids? Or something straight out of a comic book gone wrong? What's strange is there was only one newspaper article, then the story just fucking vanished. And here's the cherry on top. This wasn't the first time this happened. To fully understand the context of what happened in Houston, we need to go back 1 year earlier. All right, let's shift gears. We're rewinding back to September 12, 1952, about 9 months before the Houston Batman showed its ass. This is where shit gets real about why the government started freaking out over weird stuff. In the sleepy town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, population barely scraping 280, a group of locals had an encounter that lit a fire under the CIA's ass. It all kicked off around 7:15 p.m. when a bunch of kids playing football spotted this bright, pulsing object streaking across the sky like a damn fireball. They thought it was a meteor or a crashing plane going down on a nearby hill. The witnesses? Brothers Edward and Freddie May, their pal Tommy Heyer, Neil Nunley, and Ronnie Shaver, all between 10 and 13 years old. 17-year-old National Guardsman Eugene Lemon and the boy's mom, Kathleen May. Oh, and their dog, which bolted ahead barking like crazy. Armed with just a flashlight, they hiked up the hill to check it out. As they crested, they hit this thick, acrid mist that burned their eyes and throats. Some of them puked for hours afterwards. Then, about 50 feet away, was this towering figure, 10 to 12 feet tall, floating with no visible legs. It had a spade-shaped head like an ace of spades, glowing red face, and a metallic green body that seemed to shimmer or glow. It had claws for hands, and it let out this hissing sound like steam escaping while gliding towards them. The dog yelped and ran off, tail between its legs. The group said, "Fuck that noise," and hauled ass back to town. Word spread like your sister. Local sheriff and deputies investigated that night, finding skid marks and an oily residue, but no monster. By morning, reporters swarmed Flatwoods. The media explosion was goddamn insane. Headlines screamed across the U.S. and even internationally. The press was losing their fucking mind. Monster mania was a real thing. It hit wires from the Associated Press, making front pages from New York to California, fueling the cryptid hysteria on top of the 1952 UFO wave. The U.S. Air Force jumped in via Project Blue Book, their UFO debunking arm. They probed, admitting the meteor was real. A fireball was seen across 3 states at that time. And the monster? Probably just a barn owl perched high, distorted by fear and fog. But the witnesses called bullshit. Owls don't shoot straight up in the air like that. In the end, the Air Force couldn't fully debunk it, labeling it unidentified in reports, which only cranked up the buzz. Yet the story fizzled in about 2 weeks. Media moved on. No follow-ups, just lingering local lore. And get this encounter combined with the Washington, D.C. UFO flap that summer scared the government shitless. Flatwoods showed how a rural sighting could spark national hysteria, clogging intel lines and risking exploitation by the Soviets. Flatwoods, West Virginia showed the government what happens when a cryptid story goes wild during the Cold War. Panic, hysteria, mayhem, exactly what they feared the Soviets could exploit. So they fucking did something about it. Fast forward just 4 months after the Flatwoods Monster had West Virginia losing its damn mind. The CIA's freaking their shit. UFO sightings, cryptid craziness like the Flatwoods Monster, and Cold War paranoia, just like your wife and tequila, are a bad mix. So they call an emergency meeting from January 14 to 17, 1953 in Washington, D.C. to figure out how to handle this situation. This ain't some sci-fi convention. It's the Scientific Advisory Panel on Unidentified Flying Objects, led by physicist H.P. Robertson, with geek brains like astronomers and other physicists. The Flatwoods Chaos, headlines screaming about a 10-foot red-faced monster, showed the CIA what happens when weird shit goes viral. And this was way before the internet. Papers like the Daily News blasted "The Thing, 10 feet tall," while others yelled about a monster from outer space. The Air Force's Project Blue Book, which was known for debunking damn near everything, couldn't explain it. As you can probably guess, this left folks freaking the fuck out. Add that to the 1952 DC UFO flap, where several jets were chasing lights in the sky over the Capitol building, and the feds were straight up shitting their pants. They worried the Soviets could exploit this hysteria, maybe stage fake UFOs and clog intel, spark panic, and cause chaos. So the Robertson Panel gets to work, sifting through UFO reports and declassified files. Yep, those grainy documents you've seen on X-Files. Man, I miss that show. Their big takeaway? Most sightings were explainable. Stars, planes, or hell, owls on a bad night. But the real shockers in their official recommendation: launch debunking campaigns and get the media on board to downplay this stuff. They straight up said in a declassified gem that continued emphasis on the reporting of these phenomena was a threat to the orderly functioning of the protective organs of the body politic. Translation: stop the UFO and monster talk before it fucks with national security. They pushed for news outlets to mock sightings, not hype them, and even suggested using celebs and cartoons to make UFOs a fucking joke. The panel wasn't just about UFOs. Cryptids like the Flatwoods Monster got swept up in it too, since they fueled the same public frenzy. By June 1953, when the Houston Batman spooked these folks on the porch, the media already had its playbook ready to go. Report the weird, sure, but don't let it get too far. That's why the Houston Chronicle ran only one front-page story and dropped it. No follow-ups, no frenzy, no bullshit. This wasn't about investigating. It was about controlling the narrative before the next Flatwoods Monster happened. All right, we're back in Houston, June 18, 1953, where Hilda, Judy, and Howard had their minds blown by a bat-winged freak on East 3rd Street. This wasn't some backwoods tale out on a farm. It's urban Texas, and it's about to test the CIA's new game plan from the Robertson Panel. And get this, Houston's not just any city. It's spitting distance from Ellington Field, a major U.S. Air Force base back in the day, humming with jets and Cold War ops. So a glowing, rocket-zipping humanoid showing up near a military hub? That's the kind of shit the Robertson Panel was worried about. Something that could scream UFO or Soviet trick and spark panic. Keep in mind, the panel's January 1953 memo pushed for debunking and media control to kill these stories fast. So what happens? The Houston Chronicle runs a front-page story on June 19th, spilling all the juicy details. Bat wings, yellowish glow, torpedo-like exit. It's a banger, but then crickets. No follow-up articles, no swarm of reporters, no national headlines like the Flatwoods Monster got. The story dies faster than the batteries in your grandma's vibrator. Hell, even with Houston's crime wave stirring up fear that summer, the Houston Batman doesn't spark a frenzy. Compare that to the Flatwoods Monster, where papers milked a 10-foot monster story for 2 weeks with nationwide coverage. Why the silence? The Robertson Panel's playbook. Mock it, drop it, move on. And it worked like a fucking charm. The media clearly got the memo. Do not hype the weird shit. No traces like claw marks turned up to keep the story alive either. After the Flatwoods Monster sighting, it took 2 weeks to chill. After the Robertson Panel, the Houston Batman sighting fizzled in 1 day. The plan worked. Look, I can't 100% prove the government swooped in and put the kibosh on this bat-winged cryptid story. But I can sure as fuck show they had their reasons and the means to. The Flatwoods Monster encounter in '52 scared the hell out of them. Small-town monster talk went national, freaking people out during Cold War jitters. The Robertson Panel in January '53, that was their playbook, laid out clear as day. Debunk the weird shit, get the media to play ball, and shut down the hysteria before the Soviets could take advantage of it. And they had cooperation. The military and press were pretty fucking tight back then, with outlets like the Houston Chronicle dropping the Houston Batman story after one front-page smashing hit. The icing on the cake? It happened near Ellington Field, where UFO rumors could have stirred up shit even worse. The Houston Batman didn't disappear because people stopped seeing it. It disappeared because the government demanded it. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more fucked up cryptid investigations. Got a cryptid you want me to cover? Drop it in the comments. FYI, the last 2 cryptids I've done videos on were based on requests from you guys. I really do appreciate it. So, do you think the government would silence a flying cryptid story in the name of national security? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're ready to crank that shit all the way up to 11, that join button's got your name on it. For just $2.99, you can have my back in a huge way. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.